high school basketball game of the week is brought to you in part by your Hooks Dependable Drugstore.
Today, they go to Assembly Hall in Champaign to take on highly regarded Illinois, led by guard Bruce Douglas and front court man Ephraim Winters. It's coming up next on NBC.
NBC Sports presents the best of college basketball. Today from Assembly Hall in Champaign, Illinois, it's the Hoosiers of Indiana versus the Illinois Fighting Illini. Today's game is brought to you by Miller High Life, the best beer for the best time of the day. Welcome to Miller Time. By Ryder Truck Rental. When you move it yourself, it's Ryder or it's wrong. By Kemper and the independent insurance agents who represent us. For all of your insurance needs, ride with Kemper. And by Mr. Goodwrench and General Motors Parts.
Receiving the inbound pass and then giving it off to Bruce Douglas, who scored 28 against Indiana in a win here for Illinois last year. Altenberger. Montgomery juggles it. Brooks and Altenberger tie one another up. Possession belongs to Indiana.
Indiana's done an outstanding job defensively, these young kids, but on the offensive end, there's no rhythm, there's no flow right now. It's very difficult to penetrate a tough Illini defense.
Cree Smith, one of the freshmen on the floor for Bobby Knight. Joe Hillman with it, a California product. Delray Brooks shot partially blocked by Bruce Douglas, one of the nation's better defensive guards. Altenberger comes out of there with the ball. 8-3 in favor of Illinois. They've won 5 in a row. They're 16-4 overall, 5-2 in the Big Ten. Indiana is 11-5, 3-3 in the conference, losers of 2 in a row. Ephraim Winters. In and out, and then back in again.
The top of the key jump shot is wide open. Indiana's man-to-man defense is packed in the lane, and it's going to be open for at least as long as they continue to play man that way.
The Illini by 7. Indiana used the same defensive strategy at Bloomington last year, and Doug Altenberger burned them for 23.
First outside shot that Indiana State has been there, but freshmen don't like to put it up that much, so that might help them a great deal at this point.
Joe Hillman's first basket, 10-5 Illinois.
There's that top of the key jump again. Right, Blab is just standing in the lane. They're letting Montgomery shoot it. He's not going to take the shot, and Coach Henson's kind of upset right now. He wants them to take that top of the key jump.
3-second call. The officials are Rich Weiler, he's the referee, Ed Marasich and Ted Hillary assisting him.
Illinois had been playing pressure man-to-man full court. They now have gone back to what they generally play, which is a pressure man-to-man, but more packed in a little tighter.
Hillman with it, guarded by Altenberger. Altenberger expected to see a lot of Steve Alford today. So far, Alford has remained on the bench. It's not the first time.
Turnover number 4 right now for Indiana. They've had trouble just getting shots up, much less scoring right now.
Alford was benched earlier this year against Northwestern, although he did play, but he didn't start after he had played poorly in an earlier effort. Here's Brooks with a steal, and he's fouled by Bruce Douglas, and for Douglas, that's his second.
You know, sometimes when you're on a roll, as Illinois was coming into this game, and Indiana started all freshmen, there's a tendency not to be as up maybe as you need to be. He is very, very upset with his young players. Well, they're doing a great job defensively. The offensive end of the court, though, 3 points in 9 minutes, pretty tough.
11 minutes and 56 seconds to play in the first half. Illinois 10 and the Hoosiers 5. Loss to Kentucky at Lexington in the regional final is all that kept Lou Henson's Illini from going to the Final Four a year ago. There are those who think they might make it this time, Coach.
A lot of upsets yesterday. They can move up in the national rankings, certainly with an impressive victory today.
Georgetown and SMU, both losers yesterday. And an Indiana turnover, their 5th.
Young players, offensive basketball is just so difficult to execute properly, and the turnovers are really hurting Indiana right now.
Bruce Douglas recently broke Derek Harper's all-time Illinois assist record and also owns the school's steal record. Delray Brooks slapped it away. Could have been a foul, but no call. He goes the distance, and he was fouled. Fouled by Mentz.
Once again, Bob, what we saw is even though it's a young Hoosier team, on the defensive end, they're so well schooled. They work so hard. Delray Brooks, that's his second steal, and he has 3 points of their 5. If they can get the offense going, they're still right in this game. A good move. Used his body very well, leaned in. I'm sure he's a little disappointed. Would have liked opportunity at 3-point play. He's going to be an outstanding player.
Won't fall for him, and it remains 10-5.
Breaks your heart as a coach. You say, I think we got a 3-point play, and now you're lucky you come away with 1.
1 of 2. As poorly as Indiana has played at the offensive end, they're very fortunate to be within 4.
Without question. I think that Illini should go inside. They should go inside.
Douglas trying to get it inside to Mentz. Mentz to the floor. Steve Isle there, too. And Douglas ties him up, and it's Illinois' turn for possession.
Great hustle. I mean, as I said, the half court on the defense, Indiana's as good as anybody.
Lou Henson took New Mexico State to the Final Four in 1970. Had Sam Lacey, Jimmy Collins, who played with the Chicago Bulls, now one of his assistants, and little Charlie Criss on that team.
You know, I played with both these fellows, coached at other schools, and they both shut me down. Them and about 27 other coaches were able to do that.
Mentz out high, over Blab, in and out. Winters, blocked by Blab. Out of bounds to Illinois. Now, Blab rejected the shot, but nonetheless, it illustrates something about the Illini. They are about as good an offensive rebounding team as you'll find.
Their best offense right now has been the putback. They do that probably better than anybody. Returning is Anthony Welsh. They really need him. The Illini are struggling offensively right now, even though they're against a young Hoosier team.
Altenberger. Deadly outside shooter if they give it to him. This time he shoots off the dribble and misses badly. And Indiana up with the ball. Delray Brooks.
Ephraim Winters has not seen the ball enough, I think, on the Illinois offense.
Steve Isle. Out to Brooks. Brian Sloan into Blab. Triple team. Finds the open man with the pass. And there'll be a foul which will send Brian Sloan to the free throw line.
Not a popular call, but Brian Sloan, there is that principle of verticality. Again, the defense can hold its position, but it was a proper call by the official that time.
The principle of verticality. Who devised that?
My father, Rocco, had that one.
Brian Sloan, as you may know, is the son of Jerry Sloan, former Evansville All-American and great NBA player with the Chicago Bulls, now an assistant coach with the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, right now, Indiana just can't put the ball in the basket from the free throw line or from the field.
He comes up empty, and Mentz comes away with the ball. Douglas. He and Ephraim Winters tried out for the Olympic team this past summer, cut by Bobby Knight. No disgrace. A lot of outstanding players did not make it. Over Blab. Altenberger the rebound. Blocked from behind by Sloan, and he's got the loose ball, no foul. Isle to Blab with the hook. Just unstoppable, but short. Still 10-6 Illinois. Douglas took it the length and hits the pull-up.
It's very effective in the lane, and they need a spark right now, but Douglas has 2 fouls, too. They're a foul away from being in a little bit of trouble right now, Illinois.
First basket for Douglas. 9.5 minutes to play first half. Flop on the turnaround. Someone got a piece of that. Sloan missed the tip. And Ephraim Winters away with the rebound. Anthony Welch. Steve Isle has it. Delray Brooks. Isle up top, and Blab baseline. Smacked away by Mentz cleanly. Altenberger races back. Good pass to a driving Douglas. Steve Isle got a piece of it, and it almost fell in the bucket. And Welch now will be called for a double dribble.
Interesting, Bob. Down at the other end, the Illinois defense right now. Watch the Illinois played man-to-man. Look at the crowd that he draws right there. It's a good block. The man-to-man defense right now is packing around the basketball.
They do that to some extent ordinarily, and with the lineup Knight has in now, they're using that double and sometimes triple team on Blab to an even greater extent because he's really their only scoring threat.
They're not even looking for shots in the perimeter right now, and it's going to be very tough for Blab to score.
Blab recently had a 31-point game against Michigan, followed by a career-high 33 against Ohio State. An air ball from Steve Isle. Indiana has played 16 games this year. In 14 of them, either Blab or Alford has been their leading scorer. Alford is on the bench, and in the other two games, when Alford or Blab was not the leading scorer, it was Mike Giommi, and Giommi isn't here, didn't make the traveling squad. So obviously, the only man they have on the floor who can be counted on for points is Blab.
I really thought that maybe Bob Knight was trying to make a point to his Hoosiers, but instead he's kept his freshman lineup in the whole first half.
Douglas to Mentz in the lane. He juggles, recovers, and fouled as he went up a second time. They are letting some contact go before they blow that whistle.
Little difference, I think, the Big Ten and the ACC. I'm seeing a lot more physical here, I think, in the Big Ten and Atlantic Coast Conference.
Foul on Brian Sloan. His first. In a loss against Purdue on Thursday night, Alford had 18, Blab had 16, and no other Hoosier had more than 3.
Well, so Illinois on the offensive end right now, other than offensive rebounding,
They're not really running their offense with, I think, their normal rhythm and getting the ball inside as they usually do. They usually get the ball to Winters a lot more. I'm not sure he's taken but a shot so far.
Mentz makes them both. It's 14-6 Illini. And we have exactly 8 minutes to play in the first half. Brian Sloan, guarded by Winters. Sloan back from Blab. Hemmed in along the baseline, tried to get it to Delray Brooks into the backcourt. That's the 6th turnover for the Hoosiers. Timeout Indiana, 7:46 left.
It's been so hectic, you know. I said, number one, road games are always tough. You know, I get up yesterday in Louisville, my phone didn't work, the shower didn't work, my team didn't work, I didn't work. Right now, Indiana's having trouble working on the road, playing 4 freshmen, bringing another freshman off the bench, 6 points in, 13 minutes of play. And yet, I thought Bob Knight might have been making that move to make a point, to tell the veteran kids, you better get this thing going. But he's gone with the entire first half, and the result is on the offensive end, turnovers, 6 air balls, decent defense, but offensively they can't make anything happen right now.
Welch will inbound for Illinois. They lead by 8. They put it in Bruce Douglas's hands to run their attack. Delray Brooks is on him. Welch, nicknamed Ice because of his resemblance to George Gervin, spins for the jumper and misses it. The rebound to Blab. He lost it. Sloan dove to the floor after it, but it's Illinois who comes away with possession.
Great hustle by the Hoosiers.
Deflected, and Blab comes away with the ball. Hillman. Douglas and Altenberger trying to trap him, but he works it free for the jumper by Cree Smith. That's good off the glass. Cree Smith's first basket.
The longer you let a club stay in the game like this, I'll tell you, second half could be awfully testing.
Montgomery can have that 18-footer if he wants it. Douglas baseline. Blab made it change the shot a little, but he hit it anyway.
What Illinois is trying to do at that top of the key jumper, Montgomery, Indiana won't guard. So what they've done is rotate to post Illinois to see if they can get someone else who wants to take that shot.
Mentz on Sloan. Hillman with the head fake on Altenberger, but nowhere to go. Crowd thought he walked. Cree Smith in and out. And And Altenberger has the rebound. Even the guards, Douglas and Altenberger, rebound well for Illinois.
One of the better rebounding teams I've seen.
Welch. Douglas. Another offensive board. It's Montgomery. In the pros, undoubtedly a forward. But George Montgomery at 6'8", a center for Lou Henson at Illinois. Wide open Douglas. Won't fall. Blab has the rebound.
They're both playing a packed-in man-to-man, and when the ball goes inside, it's very difficult to maneuver. You've got to throw it back outside. You're going to have to take that outside shot.
An Illinois foul, and it's on Douglas, and that will be his third. And they're going to get him out of there. Tony Weisinger is going to come into the game, number 10, off Lou Henson's bench. And Douglas will sit down with 5:39 to play in the first half, and the Illinois lead at 16-8.
Georgia Tech up heels by 4, huh? Well, I'll tell you, we were up by 2 touchdowns against them and wound up losing by 10. So that's a long way from over.
Sloan on the inbound, works it over to Hillman. How tough is the ACC? Got a club like Duke. They've already lost to Maryland, Wake Forest, and your team, North Carolina State.
I'll tell you, all conferences are really tough. Right now, they say our tough conference, top to bottom, might be the tough. I think the Big East is a dynamite conference. The Big Ten, certainly super.
Illinois changing up their defense.
They went to a zone. They were in a little foul trouble. Knight's called. Let's watch how they attack the zone. Generally speaking, if there's a 2-man front, Bobby Knight will put just the 3 men out front and work 3 against 2. Let's see what happens. There's that top of the key.
Something to watch with Montgomery. He passes the ball well from the high post. Altenberger has it knocked away. Illinois will keep it. So if they go to Montgomery out high there, even if he doesn't take the shot, you've got to watch for the cutters because he'll hit him.
There's no passing lane. Once Blab stays way off, there's no passing lane, no place to the passing. You must take that shot. If not, put Montgomery low and put someone else out there who might want to take the shot, because it's really playing 4 against 5.
Both these clubs have held their opposition to very low shooting percentages. Montgomery driving inside but missing. Welch will follow. Doesn't get the roll, and a flat-footed rebound for Blab. Illinois opponents have shot 40% for the year from the floor. Indiana's only 43, among the best percentages in the country.
Illinois goes back to its man-to-man. I guess Coach Henson didn't like what he saw last time down.
Bree Smith took it into no man's land and then lost it. It touched him last after it was stuffed back in his face.
No place to go. Drove baseline, but got too deep. Couldn't come up on the other side. 2 very well-schooled teams in the half-court defensive.
You told me last night you expected the game to be in the 60s. At this rate, they might not reach 50.
No, the weather's higher than the score right now.
Weisinger, his first shot. Blab another rebound. 7 rebounds for Blab, and if there's a weakness in his game, it's that he has not been a terror on the boards, but today doing a good job. Outside, good range for a fellow 7'2".
I tell you, he's playing a great basketball game on the defensive end. If you can't get the ball in low, maybe you better move the big fella outside.
They're only down by 6 at 16-10. Sloan on Winters. Altenberger drives and misses, but he was fouled.
They can ill afford Indiana, that is, to lose the big fella, Uwe Blab. He's playing, I think, inspired basketball surrounded by 4 frosh. But he did commit the cardinal sin. He leaves his feet. And once you do that, the referees, it's almost a reaction call. You know you're going to get called for a foul there.
And on Blab his second. Doug Altenberger, his father Bill, played basketball at Illinois in the mid-50s.
Is it me? Did I bring this? I know my club played poorly against Louisville. Maybe I brought this. What a shooting spell on both clubs here.
Altenberger had a 33-point game against Oregon in the Great Alaska Shootout earlier this year. Hits 1 out of 2 to build Illinois' lead to 17-10. 3 minutes and 35 seconds remaining until intermission. And we'll be right back. is that Lou Henson's Illini, along with SMU, Dave Bliss's team, and Lou Carnesecca's St. John's Redmen, are the three main threats at this point to Georgetown. St. John's proved it yesterday.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't disagree. We've played St. John's, and they're an outstanding basketball team. I am a little surprised today, being honest with you. I thought that Illinois, and I haven't changed my opinion, but I'm a little surprised of their ineffectiveness right now offensively against a very young, Indiana team. And I'm not so sure that sometimes, I mentioned earlier, when you're a player and you feel, 27% and 23% field goal, that's incredible. Sometimes you tend to let down a little bit. You hear 4 freshmen are going to be going up against you. I think what Coach Henson's trying to do now is increase the defensive pressure. Try and score from your defense.
Delray Brooks all the way, and he was fouled, or is it offensive? It's offensive on Delray Brooks.
Once again, it's very difficult against either team to take the ball coast to coast. Too much help side defense. He had position. Oh, that's got to hurt Delray for sure. Running into George Montgomery is not, I'm sure, the happiest moment of your life. But once again, the defensive pressure is going to try to create the offense. Let's see if they go inside right now, Illinois against Indiana.
Weisinger for Douglas, who's on the bench with 3 fouls. Anthony Welch twisted an ankle earlier, sat down for a while, now back in. Winters in the lane. Won't fall. Both teams around 20-25% from the floor. Free Smith.
Although it's only a 7-point lead, Bob, it's a big 7. The score's only 17-10. It's a lot more points than it appears to be.
Blop double team. Dumps it off to Hillman. Brooks is wide open, but can't hit. Montgomery has the rebound. George Washington Montgomery. Weisinger. Good feed. And Montgomery, the trailer on the play, lays it in.
Very nice cut to the basket. A nice shot. I thought possibly Indiana play might step in and take the same charge we just saw down there. I'm sure Bob Knight was not happy possibly with that pass.
2:25 to play in the half. Blop.
Great catch by Blop in an extremely hard pass. I think that shows his development as a player. I remember as a freshman, he had trouble catching the ball. Watch this catch. What a one-handed catch. Great grab. He's playing very, very well. I was impressed with him out of the Olympic Games also. Right now, another thing, Bob, is this crowd is not in the game. The crowd is not really having an impact in the game as you would think a 16,000-plus arena.
Blop was the center on the West German Olympic team. He scored 10 points in a 78-67 West German loss to Bobby Knight's USA squad. And although they did lose by 11, that's as close as anybody came for the United States.
I thought Bob had an outstanding team with Detlef Schrempf from Washington and Christian Belt, also from the University of Washington. And Uwe played very, very well. There's a young man who's going to go to Kentucky named Benke, who's going to be on that team, 7'2", and did not play for the West Germans. They turned out some great players, West Germany.
Blop is a 79% free throw shooter, but he comes up empty. And the score remains 19-10. Hillman on Altenberger.
What Illinois tries to do offensively is create the triangle.
Altenberger puts the bomb down from about 23.
I was about to say what I think they need to look for is some perimeter. Should they try and work an offensive triangle, which maybe we'll get a chance to look at a little bit later on.
6 for Altenberger. We're a minute 40 from halftime, and Steve Alford has not played a minute. And Giomi and Morgan are home. Didn't make the traveling squad. Blocked. Quick release on that.
He's really improved tremendously. I think he's going to make a good pro. Now, some people, that term. I'm not saying a great pro. I think he'll be in the NBA for a decade.
Montgomery turns. Blop blocks it. There was a whistle. And the foul on Blop.
Great defense. Great defense. What he did was he gave Montgomery room, and then he blocked the shot. Watch this. Great defensive play by Blop. Watch him give him room. He backs off, then is able to go up and block the shot, and they call a foul on Delray Brooks.
Yeah, my mistake, because Blop's block was clean, but Brooks coming over on the help slapped him on the arm.
The last 2 times down the court, and 3 times, Blop has shown 3 great things. His athletic ability catching the ball, the turnaround jump shot, and excellent judgment on the defensive end when he had 2 fouls. Very impressive play right now by Uwe Blab.
Montgomery is only only a 63% free throw shooter, but it represents an improvement. He was 51% for his career coming into this season. They're up 10. And it stays there. Blab closing in on double figures in the first half in rebounds. Blab had it knocked away, and the steal by Montgomery.
Well, now the clock comes into play, the 40-second clock. You got 38 seconds on a small clock and 50 seconds approximately in the first half. Shoot it, George, please shoot it. I'm going to run out there in my loafers here, take a J from the top of the key.
Altenberger takes one from a whole lot further away than that. That's a three-pointer in an NBA game.
They really need that right now. The way Indiana's packing the defense, you need Altenberger taking some rainbows from downtown.
He's got 8, and he has burned Indiana with his outside shooting in the past.
Those two zones for the last 2 seconds.
Now the crowd is in it. They have doubled Indiana's score and may hold them to a dozen for the half.
Perimeter shot top of the key is about all that's open right now.
They only got 5 seconds. Blab.
His influence on young coaches. His former player and assistant Duke coach Mike Krzyzewski is a case in point.
Well, he's had a great influence, but the main thing I think I learned from is the fact to be yourself. You're not going to be successful trying to be like Bob Knight or Pete Newell or people like that. You try to take their teachings and incorporate them within your own personality, and that's what I've tried to do here at Duke.
To look back at having recruited a kid, brought him to school at West Point as I did. He played for me for 3 years. He coached for me here, and now he's got a team that he's done extremely well with on his own. I'm really pleased with that.
Your reflections now on coming into the so-called, quote, mystique of the ACC, a coach's league.
I think that the first thing you have to do, and Vic Bubas gave me some good advice on this, is the fact that don't pay attention to what else is happening in the league. You have enough problems of your own. Develop Duke the way it can be developed, and don't try to pattern yourself after anybody else. You kind of have to go with blinders on and just develop your own personality and own program. That's what we've tried to do.
Coach K is in his 5th year at Duke, and he's well established and very popular. But the toughest adjustment for him was recruiting, where his nearest rivals have him surrounded. North Carolina State, only 25 miles in that direction, and the University of North Carolina, only 8 miles in that direction.
It's unique. There are times where you're picking up, like someone has just visited your place, and you're going there the next week to pick up a prospect, and you see Jimmy Jones coming in again, and you say, hey, Jimmy, how you doing? And the next week, you're picking up somebody else, and he's coming in again. And there's no other region like it, and that's what makes this area so crazy. It's not only that, Bucky, but the people at the airport, they're calling you up and saying, hey, so-and-so's coming in. And you have so many informants. It's like a soap opera.
When you came from Army to the Atlantic Coast Conference, you came with another young coach from the East, a fellow named Jim Valvano, who came to North Carolina State. But not many people really know that your TV show outrates his. How?
I think a lot of it has to do with how good-looking I am and how, he has a little bit of a problem there. I've tried to work with him as far as how he dresses. He wears all these Italian clothes and things like that. I told him that bowling shirts.
Today is the lowest one-half output of any Bobby Knight coached Indiana team.
Bob, they were fortunate to have the 12 points. They're shooting 27% from the field.
Look at the free throws, 2 for 8.
25% from. Hey, Illinois is not exactly, knocking them dead here. They're shooting 30% from the field. Rebounds, the key, 25 bounds to 14. Illinois really beating them badly on the boards, but all in all, what can I say? I said I wouldn't criticize, but something? It's not a good basketball game right now, And if you wonder, and that's what I was going to say, I wonder who they're going to start at Indiana. It's the same starting lineup they went with.
Again, for those of you just joining us, veterans Mike Giommi and Winston Morgan have disappointed Knight, to put it euphemistically, with their play. They did not make the traveling squad.
Put it how?
Forget it. Skip it, Coach.
Thank you.
Steve Alford, Olympian, possible All-American this year, certainly an All-Big Ten performer, has not played a minute in the first half, although he is here and in uniform.
Doug Altenberger hit 2 bombs right at the end of the half. That was very important. There are 2 fine players sitting side by side. 2 Mr. Basketball, Marty Simmons from Illinois and Steve Alford from Indiana.
It's Indiana's ball as we start the second half. Joe Hillman over to Brian Sloan. And Sloan picks one up and misses it from 20 feet. And Tony Weisinger has the rebound. Weisinger replaced Bruce Douglas, an All-Big Ten performer who went out with 3 fouls. And Weisinger remains in to start the second half. Hillman knocked it out of bounds.
Beginning of the second half, you always can see what went on at halftime in the locker room. What are you going to try to do, right? Indiana came down. You notice in the first half, many passes. They put it up right away. Bob Knight said, hey, you got to go ahead and shoot it. And Illinois, on the other hand, went immediately inside. Let's look for those 2 things happening in the second half.
But notice this, Coach. The guy who took the shot, Brian Sloan, who cranked it up right away, was immediately yanked by Knight, and Steve Isle comes back in.
Let's watch next time down. Going inside.
Winters with a good feed to Montgomery.
Beautiful pass, high-low action, almost like a set. I'm sure they talked about that in the locker room. Get it high post, down low post.
Steve Isle out to Hillman. 4 freshmen and Blab on the floor. Brooks, Hillman, Isle. Isle on the drive, and it spins in. It'll count, and a foul on the play. Cree Smith is the other freshman, and Blab number 33.
Again, let's point out that, okay, this is a beautiful high-low pass. Again, it works because, why? Because Indiana, the ball attracts people. You can see an attempt here at a double team. Blab comes up, high-low post, beautiful pass, easy 2 points.
Isle only a 55% free throw shooter, and that was a brick.
But you notice 2 times down, Indiana did put the ball up more quickly, also with more authority, too.
26-14, the Illini by a dozen. Montgomery, as we pointed out in the first half, can have that from the top of the key if he wants it. Winters is the guy who drills it home.
That's what we talked about in the first half. What the Illini do, they're exchanging the post. Montgomery won't shoot. He screens down. Up comes Ephraim Winters for the jump shot.
Winters has 4 points. How do you compare him to your own power forward, Lorenzo Charles?
Ephraim Winters is probably a better board man. I think Lorenzo might be a better outside shooter. Both should be fine pros.
Cree Smith guarded by Anthony Welch. Delray Brooks with Weisinger on him. Brooks with a big height advantage. Isle. Down low Blab, and they work it back out to Hillman. Good ball movement, but Hillman's shot rattles in and out.
They're playing better, but both clubs are loosening up, playing much better offensive basketball.
Montgomery.
Pass and go screen away, George. There it is.
Welch. Now notice when Welch has it up there, Cree Smith comes right up on him.
Certainly.
But Blab dares Montgomery to take it when he has it in the same position.
That's why he passes and screens away. Hochberger.
He hit a couple like that in the first half. This time, no. Blab has the rebound, his 9th of the day.
That was 4-point range.
Blab was hammered as he took it inside, surrounded by 3 white shirts on the play.
Good ball movement. Excellent ball movement. Blab has position. He takes it right hard to the hole. Oh, is this a physical conference? My goodness gracious. Good play. Good ball movement. Indiana is much more effective so far in this half than they were last half, just in the ball movement itself. Plus, they're looking for the offensive opportunities.
It's the 3rd foul on Montgomery. He exits, and coming in is Scott Mentz, number 30.
They're in serious foul trouble, Illinois, both Douglas and Montgomery, but I'm not sure Indiana has the offensive firepower to make up 14 points.
Uncharacteristically poor free throw shooting game for Blab.
Bobby Knight giving Blab some confidence there, clapping. I think he has to be pleased with the big fella's play. He's done a good job for us.
Misses them both. Indiana as a team, 2 of 11 from the line. Illinois with double the Hoosier output at 28-14. Mentz. Welch spins into the lane, and it's slapped away by Isle, stolen by Brooks. Isle on the the drive, hit it in traffic.
Still, though, for Indiana to come back, they're going to have to take the perimeter shot. You cannot continue to go to the heart of a packed-in man-to-man defense. Watch the offensive triangles that Illinois has. You'll see when they come high post, it's triangle.
Mentz had it knocked away by Brooks. Indiana comes out with a steal. Flop back to Isle. Can't hit it. And the rebound to Anthony Welch.
Inside, outside. Both teams have to throw the ball inside and then back outside because of a packed-in man-to-man defense.
Mentz out to Weisinger, 20-footer. Too long. Rebound Isle. Knocked away, and finally the loose ball to Brooks. All the way himself, which might have been ill-advised. It's out of bounds to Indiana. He had a man open on the wing. Smith was open on his right.
Didn't really get control of basketball, and I thought he might be able to get fouled. But right now, what we're going to see, here he goes. Yes, he's got a man open, and good defensive play, though. Came in real quickly and made it tough, I think, to pass it. What we're going to see, though, Bob, unless either Illinois starts hitting from the outside, you're going to just see the ball go inside, attract the crowd, pass it back outside, and have trouble scoring.
Flop. The basket would have counted had it gone. As it is, it's a foul on Mentz. Look at that. Kansas, which barely snuck by Colorado by 2 last night and had trouble with Missouri at home earlier in the week, loses big to our producer George Finkel's alma mater. Michigan 96-77 over Kansas.
And Tennessee beats Kentucky pretty easily. Those 2 games, I imagine, were at the victor's home courts. This happens so often in college basketball.
Finally finds the range from the line. Bruce Douglas has come back into the game at a guard spot, and Weisinger is out for Illinois.
I noticed at the half that Georgia Tech was leading North Carolina's Tar Heels. A surprising score there. That is at North Carolina.
Well, we talked about SMU's loss to Texas Tech. Georgetown losing to St. John's. Isle got the rebound off the miss. Can't put it down, and here's Welch. DePaul was also a loser last night. Dayton beat them. Mentz.
My goodness.
Can't ask for a better shot. Wide open 10-footer. 28-17, the Illini by 11. The bomb by Chris Smith is good.
Thank you. You've got to take that outside shot. It's there for both teams. Throw the ball inside, kick it back outside, and take the J.
Mentz thought about it. Gives it up instead to Welch. Mentz spins with the hook. Won't go. They keep it alive, out of bounds to Indiana.
Okay, here's an important part of the game. Indiana has a possibility of a run. Could cut this thing down to about 6 points.
Timeout with 15 minutes and 14 seconds to play in the ballgame. 28-19, Illinois. Illinois has been blanked in the last 3 minutes and 33 seconds, but they still hold a 9-point lead at 28-19. That is Olaf Blab, the brother of Uwe Blab of Indiana. Olaf on the Illinois squad being redshirted. He'll be available next year.
That's right. There's some people who are talking about whether the foreign-born players should be able to play on NCAA teams.
Don't say some people. We know who it is. We talked about him before. He's our buddy and one of the very best.
Yes.
A terrific analyst, Billy Packer of CBS. He says flatly, forget about Detlef Schrempf. Forget about Uwe Blab. American players. What do you say?
I think Billy's gone off the deep end there. I think that's what this country's all about. Hey, my grandfather wouldn't be. I wouldn't be here. Come on, Billy.
Your grandfather Rocco, or is that your dad?
That's my pop.
Illinois goes zone as Indiana comes down.
Well, why not? If the outside shooting's been so bad against the man-to-man, you might as well just pack it in tight on the zone. It also saves you foul troubles right now.
Hillman almost lost it, but recovers and gets it to Brooks.
This is a critical possession, though, because they are making a mini run. Basketball's a game of runs. A basket here is going to tighten up, I think, Illinois' offensive shot. Only 10 seconds on the clock.
They tried to get it in the block, deflected. Brooks got it. Now 5 seconds on the clock as Isle gets it up and in.
It's a ball game. It's a ball game.
It's not a Mona Lisa, but it's a ball game.
It's only a touchdown down right now.
Mentz over Blab. Scott Mintz. Both his parents are Illinois grads, and his cousin, Dick Martin, is the Illinois play-by-play man on the radio. I wonder if he gets a favorable call now and then.
First time that Indiana did not double down on the guy inside and cost him 2 points.
30-21, the Illini by 9 again. 13:55 to play in the game. They get it into Blab. Blocked by Mintz. And Douglas has it. Douglas racing down on Hillman. Missed it, and Welch follows with the stuff, and it will count. It had come off the rim.
Yes, that'll stop the run. That got the crowd back in the game. It was a no match. Douglas going down against Hillman, went right by him. Great follow-up shot. Indiana's zone attack. What they try and do is it this shot from the corner. We'll talk about it next time down.
Here's Mintz and Altenberger, guarded by Brooks. Good ball movement again, and it's Mintz. He found his second in a row.
Might be timeout time right now for Indiana. Illinois is on a bit of a run right now.
The lead is 13, and Bobby Knight wants to talk it over. With 12 minutes and 54 seconds to play at Assembly Hall, and they're jumping now in Champaign, Illinois. Watch Douglas. He uses Hillman, misses. Has warmed up a little bit in the second half.
Yes, it has. 50% for Illinois and 40 for Indiana. But I think Lou Henson made a great move going to his zone because Indiana was on a mini run. They had a chance to cut the lead down to 6-7 points. A couple of bad shots, and I thought a good steal. They're staying with the zone. Looks like they're staying with the zone. Now watch Indiana's attack. It's really textbook against zone. What Bob Knight tries to do is if you have a 2-man front, he'll come out with a 3-man front. If you have 3 men, he'll go 2 men in the back line. You watch how he attacks the zone, and it's right out of a clinic.
But one of the key elements in attacking his zone is to have Alford to hit those outside shots, and we haven't seen Alford all day in the doghouse.
I just said it was a clinic on how they attack. The problem is they don't have anybody right now to play off.
Here's a steal by Douglas. He drives.
But that outside shooting going to the zone was a great move by Lou Henson.
The lead is 15. Brooks trapped and finally gets it out to Cree Smith. Steve Isle can't hit it. The rebound to Ephraim Winters. On the run, a 3-on-2 if they hurry. And Douglas was hit as he made a move at the foul line. I don't believe it would be an overstatement to say that Bobby Knight is willing to lessen his chances of winning this game in order to make a point in return for what he regards as a principle. And he has left a couple of contributors, or at least past contributors, in Giomi and Morgan at home, and he has benched his best player in Alford.
Well, if I were playing for him, he certainly made the point, that's for darn sure. And they do go home and have, I think, 5 of the next 7 conference games will be at home. So you better come back and play hard, otherwise he'll sit you.
Mintz to Welch. Spinning on Smith. Got it.
Illinois is very loose right now, and they're really rolling both on the offensive and the defensive end. They'll stay in this zone, and right now it's been very effective.
It was 12 at the half. It's 17 now. Smith hits over it. Cree Smith.
They're going to have to do that. They do have an opening at the top. The zones will always give you a shot top of the key in the seams. You got to take it, though.
Indiana came into this game shooting 56% as a team, the best mark in the country. Off glass, Ephraim Winters.
Loosening up right now. They're working their offense very well. High-low post. They're scoring really from every place right now.
So Indiana, even with a slight improvement in the second half, only around 35% for the game at this point, and they are 56% for the year. Tried to get it in the block, and Mintz knocked it away and out of bounds. Still Indiana ball. In 12 of their first 16 games this year, Georgia Tech continues to lead Carolina by 2. In 12 of 16 games this year, Indiana has shot better than 50%. Every time they have failed to do so, they have lost.
Well, that's partly because they're not really a great rebounding team. They've been getting beaten up on the boards pretty much, so they need to shoot well. They need to run effective offense.
Cree Smith with a leaner, and he hits it. He's hot now.
Yes, two nice moves in a row. First time he took the perimeter shot. Second time faked and drove right through the zone.
Mentz, not afraid to take it to Blab. Works it out to Welch. Fadeaway is good.
Little acting job did not convince the referee. And right now, Illinois is playing the way I expected Illinois to play. They're really doing a great job on the offensive end of the floor.
Welch was 0 for 5 in the first half, 3 for 3 since intermission. We talked about Indiana not being a great rebounding team. At this point, Illinois' board total is roughly double that of the Hoosiers.
Illinois went back to man-to-man. It's a little surprising there. They've made this run in a zone, although Cree Smith hit 2 shots. And a lot of times coaches will have a kind of a formula. If we're in a defense that you score a couple of hoops in a row with 3, change defenses again. Here's Blab going to the basket. He's been so much more mobile, I think, this year than any other time in his career.
Mentz picks up his 3rd foul. Montgomery, whom he replaced, is on the bench.
Back in zone again, and Illinois just stayed man-to-man for 1 possession.
Brooks in some trouble, and Altenberger steals it. Pushes it up the floor. Had it squirt out of his hands. He was trying to get it to Winters, but he never had control of the pass.
I don't want it. You can have it. Alphonse Gaston.
Blab from 20.
Very impressive performance today by Uwe Blab. He's done everything. He's been a leader. He's rebounded. He's shot inside, outside. He's also playing without fouling, which is something he had trouble doing early in his career. Just a great job today by the big guy.
Pass down low, nobody there, and a turnover for Illinois. Now Montgomery is going to come back in, and let's see who he replaces for Illinois. Winters goes out. The Illini by 15, but considering the offensive pace of the game, it looks like 30.
Big 15. Right now, I'm not sure that really Bob is concerned. Bob Knight, that is, with the W here as much as making the point for the future.
Flop out to Brooks. His 20-footer finds the mark. They have looked somewhat sharper in the second half.
That's right. He's Uwe Blab making assists also out there. Probably has to be one of his best games that he's played, all-around game, that is.
Traveling call as Montgomery released the pass to Altenberger. Certainly Blab has had bigger games scoring-wise. He had 31 against Michigan and 33 against Ohio State, but he has played a good all-round game today.
Yeah, we tried to make a good move. It did shuffle the pivot foot, so correct call.
Illinois zoning. Hillman out to Brooks. Into Blab for the hook.
Oh, love that move. That was a pro move.
Why can't more big men shoot a hook? It's a virtually unstoppable shot.
Footwork. That's the fundamental with the hook shot. You notice the way Blab wheeled and was leaning towards the basket. A lot of players on the hook shot go away from the basket. Improper footwork causes that to be a tough shot.
It's true that if you're 7
for a 7-footer, watch this. Uwe Blab, great position. Watch how he wheels towards the basket. At the end of that shot, he's going towards the iron. A lot of young players think the hook shot means going away from the basket. Not even George Mikan could have done that any better. Uwe Blab playing excellent basketball. You know, Bob, it's interesting. You would think a player, just talking about a player like Steve Alford, who seems like the type of a young man you'd like to have your daughter bring home, on a date. I wonder exactly what's going on, why even a player of that caliber has not seen any action in the game. Such an important game this one is today.
I guess sometimes it doesn't take much to get into Knight's doghouse.
Illinois is going to try to work inside out right now. They want to get something around the basket, looking for that triangle I talked about before. You can see it right now.
Bad pass into traffic. Blab almost stole it, still loose, and Steve Isle comes away with it. Illinois has turned the ball over now 4 consecutive trips down the floor.
Henson's certainly not happy, but he's got his orange coat on. He's never lost in that coat, so things are still looking pretty good.
Lou Carnesecca now wearing that same sweater all the time. He may never take it off after yesterday's win against Georgetown. Isle had it deflected, and Altenberger is away with it. I just hope that both of them make it to the dry cleaner between games.
Well, I guarantee Louis is so superstitious, he keeps winning. He'll have that jacket on right until March.
Welch up top, 42-31. Illinois by 11. Mintz, and the baseline shot won't drop.
I think what's going to happen is just Indiana's going to run out of time because Illinois isn't really playing excellent offensive basketball right now. But once again, an 11-point lead, only scored 31 points is pretty big.
And Cree Smith has found the range.
He's really found that little spot on the left side of the court. He's knocked in 3 from there. And all of a sudden, just as I say that, it's a 9-point game.
And 10 points individually for Smith. Illinois looking to win their 6th in a row. Indiana would like to fall to 2-game losing streak.
Douglas at the J.
There it is, but it's too long. And Blab outbattles 3 Illinois players for the rebound. Historically, Indiana has done well here. Night coach teams are 9-3 in Champaign. Brooks misses long.
That's a freshman, Bob. Here's such an important look at Bob Knight, very upset. I would not be surprised to see Del Rey coming out. That was such an important possession when you're trying to make a comeback. Incidentally, Uwe Blab has 10 rebounds today. Great effort.
I think they've shortchanged him. By my count, I think he has more.
Well, how many do you say? 11? You're right.
I like an agreeable.
Oh, I like the way you keep it on your leg, the way you keep track of it. The notches on your belt.
Mintz, baseline. It's good for him. And Mintz has been impressive.
Unbelievable. Not the most athletic move to the baseline, but very nice touch.
Now Indiana wants time, and Del Rey Brooks is being chewed out by Bobby Knight for the shot he took a moment ago. As the tongue lashing continues, we'll break away. Bobby Knight's Indiana Hoosiers trail the Illini 44-33 with 5:15 remaining. Georgia Tech and North Carolina have a good one going meanwhile. Let's check in with Jay Randolph.
Happy to welcome you to Carmichael Auditorium. Those of you joining us, Jay Randolph and Bucky Waters. Georgia Tech leading at 52-49. 6 minutes and 45 seconds left to play in the second half. A jam-packed crowd, better than 10,000 here at Carmichael Auditorium. Georgia Tech 14-3, North Carolina 14-3. This is Joseph out front, giving it to Dalrymple. Farrell. Also, Sally is in there along with the All-American candidate, Mark Price. Carolina has Hale, Kenny Smith, Brad Doherty back in there. He's playing with Moore. Peterson and Wolf. Shot from the corner. A beauty by Dalrymple. 54-49 now. Georgia Tech. Their biggest lead has been 10 here in the second half. Back to Champaign and Bob Costas.
And as the opportunity presents itself, we'll try and check back with you at Carmichael Auditorium. North Carolina and Georgia Tech, another tough ACC battle. While we were away, the score has not changed. Blab missed a turnaround for Indiana, and Illinois now has possession, up 44-33, 4.5 minutes remaining.
The clock now becomes a factor, certainly, even though it's a 45-second clock, you certainly can milk it a great deal. And right now, the way the game is going, there's no reason not to. You've struggled. Illinois has the last 5 or 6 times down. Why not use the clock a little bit?
Douglas is open. The rebound to Winters. They have killed them off the offensive board.
That's why you don't use the clock a little bit, because the best offense Illinois has is to shoot it and let Douglas go get it.
You like the shot clock rule? You think they should use it in the tournament?
Oh, without question. It's really silly to have it all season long and not in the tournament. I think it will come. They just didn't want to go right through it because we've had so much experimentation. Suppose this year it wasn't what was good for the game, but it is good for the game. Here's a great, once again, great follow-up right here. That's been Indiana's weak point this year, so says Bob Knight, and that's board work, and there was a great example of it right there.
Hellman to Cree Smith, who's had a hot hand, doesn't continue this time, might have forced that one. Del Rey Brooks got the rebound and was fouled on the play. You know, all the 45-second clock does is prevent an outright stall. It really doesn't force you to run a hurry-up attack. And if you can't get a good shot off in 45 seconds, the defense ought to be rewarded.
Obviously, look at the score, 46-33. It hasn't exactly made this a high-scoring game.
And it makes a game out of it late instead of making it a parade to the foul line. Look at yesterday's St. John's Georgetown game. Cree Smith now has missed a couple in a row. And the rebound is taken down by Douglas. Had trouble controlling, and he traveled with it. It goes to Indiana. Yesterday, St. John's up 15. There's Alford. Hasn't taken the jacket off all day. Up 15 against Georgetown. Without a clock, that becomes a parade to the foul line. With the clock, it becomes a close, exciting game.
We've had so many swings and scores this year because of the clock. I think it's the best thing for college basketball.
Hillman drives. Off-balance shot is off the mark, and Welch has the rebound. He dishes to Winters for the slam. Winters from Welch.
I heard so much about his slams. I wanted to see one, and we got one late in the game, and it's now a 15-point lead. It's just about over.
48-33 as we approach 3 minutes to go. Brian Sloan won't fall for him. Blop on the board, and he was fouled. The basket counts. Mintz fouled him.
What a tremendous effort by Blop. We've said it before. Might as well say it one more time. He has had an outstanding game in all aspects of the game. Offensively, defensively, rebounding. Look at him. Now he's coaching out there. Watch him right after he's coaching. He doesn't have great position, good timing. Some people here calling for a foul, but there's been a lot more violence in this game than what happened right there. Fouls it up. Nice touch. Look, it's still exciting. Playing a great game.
Play. His one deficiency today has been from the foul line.
That's true. I got carried away there. I was expecting everything to happen right on that play.
And Winters, after Sloan fell down trying to draw the charge, was left alone and pops home the 18-footer.
One-on-one can't move, knock the guy down, and then take the J. Nothing wrong with that play.
A dozen for Ephraim Winters. Delray Brooks drives baseline through a crowd and lays it in. Nice move.
Fine freshman, and Bob Knight attacked him before, put him right back in, so I think he does like the way Delray's been playing today.
13-point Illinois lead. Altenberger to Douglas for the turnaround. That will drop. A foul on the rebound effort, and it's against Mintz. That's his fifth. He's gone.
Lou Henson, Bob, was calling there for his team to run a little clock. You know, use the clock a little bit. They took a quick shot and committed a foul, and it is foul number 5.
While we've got a chance, let me ask you about Chris Washburn, his situation at North Carolina State.
On February 4th, there will be some type of conclusion to it. One way or the other, they're going to be going back to the courtroom, and it will make the district attorney, the judge, et cetera, they'll make a determination. I'm hopeful that whatever it is, that Chris Washburn will come back a stronger person and learn his lesson and become a part of college basketball again. He still is in school. He is still a student, and that he is doing that, and that's to his credit.
For those who may not be familiar with the situation, as Cree Smith misses the front end of a 1-and-1, and the ball goes to the floor out of bounds and will belong to Illinois. Chris Washburn, highly touted freshman for the Wolfpack of Jim Valvano, has been charged with stealing a stereo from another student's dorm room. But if this is all resolved, he is welcome back at North Carolina State, is what you're saying, to play ball.
As long as he is the type of young man that we fully expect him to be.
Welch out high. Driving one-hander off the glass would have been a pretty play, but it didn't drop. And Brooks has the rebound. Hoosiers down by 13.
Got to get it up at the basket. Top of the key, take it.
But they're certainly not going to force anything.
They got it to Blab, and he spins it up and in.
How could you miss so many free throws? Now, that was not a classic Cook shot. He was going away from the basket, showed a nice touch. Maybe a timeout here for Illinois, talk it over a little bit, to end on a high note, really.
Blop has scored 13 today, and if he shot free throws at all well, he'd have at least 20. All right, 1 minute and 14 seconds remaining. Illinois on their way to their 6th consecutive win, up by 11. Coming up from Italy with Marv Albert and the Fight Doctor, Ferdy Pacheco, January's champions continuing as it's Rocky Lockridge against hard-hitting Kamal Bou Ali. That's next on Sports World. Why take a timeout in this situation with Illinois having the game safely iced away?
Because they do have the game. There's two ways you're going to win it right now. You're either going to win it and look good at the end, or you're going to win it on a down note. All coaches would like to win at the end of the game looking good.
This will be Illinois' 19th consecutive home win. They haven't lost here since Christmas Eve of 1983 when Kentucky beat them by 2 on a last-second shot by James Blackman. Kentucky was the nemesis last year for the Illini, beat them during the regular season and knocked them out of the NCAAs in a heartbreaker at Lexington.
They're going to be looking Illinois for a backdoor to the basket. They're going to hang on to run the clock down, and then they're going to make a quick cut it, I would believe, someone to the basket or a hard drive maybe from Douglas.
Shot clock is at 9. Montgomery, and a foul away from the ball, which will be on Indiana. Delray Brooks raises his hand.
The 19 wins, Bob, will also be a school record at home. Their 19th consecutive victory here at Assembly Hall.
Well, we'll see you next week, Coach, in a different capacity. On the bench, Al McGuire and I will call the game as North Carolina State travels to Wake Forest.
We're always on the road, but I got to get a game in my own building so somebody can see me win one on television.
Bruce Douglas goes out, and Tony Weisinger, number 10, is back in as Douglas is congratulated on the bench. Another subject we might talk about briefly here. With your team having occasional troubles, Lou Henson is getting his starters out of there, and they're receiving their ovations, and Blop has departed now for Indiana as well. With your team having occasional problems this year, some people will criticize you for taking this day to work this ball game. What's your answer?
I think the same insiders or sources say they're the same people who thought we couldn't beat Houston in the national championship. I think that you can do many things and still be on top of your game. I would have been watching a college basketball game today, anyway, so this way I got a chance to do it in person. I also had a chance. They told me I had a chance to run with Bob Costas. I said, forget the critics. It doesn't matter what they say. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And the job I've done today may be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
And we got to talk baseball as well.
That's for sure.
Talk about the 61 Yankees last night. Hafner is in the ballgame. Scott Hafner, number 4. He's the guy who inbounded it for Illinois. And now Ken Norman misses the shot. He'll have another chance, and he hits. So his name is in the scorebook for the Illini. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. Coordinating producer of NBC's basketball, George Finkel. Today's game produced by Steve Dans, directed by George Finkel. Associate director, Mike Eilbaum. In the lane, Hillman. Technical director today, Bruce Berquist. The Hillman bucket is the last of the game. 52-41, Illinois wins it. We thank Jack Levitt, Jim Hensley, and Steve Horn for helping us out with the numbers today. Altenberger congratulated by Bobby Knight. Meanwhile, there's a hot one going at North Carolina. Georgia Tech and Dean Smith's North Carolina club. We're going to check in with Jay Randolph. Jim Valvano, it was a pleasure working with you. So long from Champaign. Lou Henson's club a winner today.